Hey there, and welcome to Insomnia Insight number 378, in which we'll talk about the Energizer Bunny phenomenon. I literally just named this the Energizer Bunny phenomenon, which is when you are sleeping less and less and less, and you're feeling more and more energized, or just as energized as you were when you were sleeping more. And this can be really, really problematic. So we're really going to get into this. We're going to see why it happens, and we're going to demystify it, and we're going to see how you will reverse this loop and get to a place where you are sleeping well. All right. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. The very important one. And this happened, by the way, because I got a question about exactly this today from one of my clients. So to define this again, we have the Energizer Bunny phenomenon. Your sleep is dwindling, yet you have preserved or more and more energy even. And how this often happens is it's often a quite kind of intense loop here, where you go from sleeping sort of like 5 hours to 4 to 3 to 2 to like what feels like nothing, but you're functioning during the day and you do not understand why. It seems really bizarre. It often has this kind of sensational quality when it's described. It's like, it just doesn't make sense. There's no logic. It's bizarre. And you can see, we're going to see in a second why this is problematic, but you can already sense that this is probably not conducive to sleeping well. And in the question that often comes up is something like this, like, is my body like adapting to less and less sleep? Have I been sleeping less and now my body is getting used to it? And then when it gets used to it, I sleep even less, etc. That's often how this question is expressed, and really you can see why that question comes up, because if you're sleeping less and less, and there's not even this compensation, there's not a compensation where you sleep more the following day or you feel sleepy the following day, then you easily kind of project this into the future. Like, if this just happens, if I sleep less and less, and there's not even like a compensation for my body, then where is this going to end up? You know, it feels like you're going to end up in a place where you are sleeping not at all. You quote unquote lose the ability to sleep, which is not possible, but it feels like you're going to lose the ability to sleep completely and literally not sleep at all, or kind of go insane. That's often when you project this in the future, that's often what you are afraid of, what you're concerned about. And as we've already alluded to here, this is of course problematic. The Energizer Bunny phenomenon is problematic because it leads to any of this, like anything from just pure curiosity, just like, what's going on, to like puzzlement, which is kind of more intense, bewilderment, preoccupation, anxiety, fear, even like almost like a panicky state. All of this can happen when this is going on, and all of these emotions or thought states, or whatever we want to call it, they kind of call for action. They're kind of like, there's something wrong, you got to do something about it. They call for action, and we know that we sleep well when there's no effort or action whatsoever. So anything that takes us towards more action, more investigating, more of that, of course, will make us have more trouble sleeping. So we can see the problem now. So let's get into it. Let's talk about, like, why is it happening? Where does the Energizer Bunny phenomenon come from? And here it is. So the brain, as you've probably heard me say many times, is a safety machine. Like, the brain's there to keep us alive and surviving, and it takes its job very seriously, all right? So if you imagine when we were living out in the wild and there was like this cougar or some kind of nocturnal predator out there lurking, we heard it, we knew it was out there, we could maybe smell it. We were not supposed to sleep much. You know, we are supposed to stay awake, actively, you know, monitoring for this threat, this real tangible threat to our health. And you know, sleep is not supposed to happen much at all, or if it is, supposed to be light. And not only that, like, you know, this is also something that this hyperarousal, this hyper alert safety state is supposed to keep us vigilant during the day too, because, you know, there might be a threat during the day too, you know, or at least when the brain thinks there's a threat during the night and during the day, it's supposed to keep us in a hyper vigilant state throughout to keep us safe, which means less sleeping and vigilance during the day. Okay, so the thing is that anything that makes you know, anything that in this hyperarousal state seems like kind of suspicious makes you even more alert. So if you're a little bit scared, you're already on the lookout for other potential threats and problems, right? So when you have insomnia, that comes from a fear of being awake at night. There's no real threat, but the brain has started to believe that being awake in itself, wakefulness during the night, is the threat. So you're already a little bit scared. And then you notice something that seems odd, which is that I'm not feeling sleepy during the day. This is actually, quote unquote, supposed to increase our hyperarousal. When the brain is scared, it is supposed to make us more hyper alert, more vigilant, more hyper aroused. So when so this is what happens. So when you're sleeping a little and don't feel sleepy, or sleep more as a consequence of sleeping a little, this alarm bell goes off. This can't be normal again. Like this safety system is really triggered. So this hyperarousal increases, and you're sleeping less, and you have more daytime vigilance. And now because of this, and then this alarm bell goes off even more, and then you're in this loop. Okay, so this is the loop. So you sleep less, you become more hyperaroused, and that also makes you more vigilant, and then you sleep even less, and now this kind of keeps feeding itself. And this loop can lead to this, what I call the Bermuda Triangle phenomenon, which is like when you go long periods of time with no sleepiness or little sleep. But this is only if you don't understand what's happening. If you don't understand what's happening, you can end up in a state where you never feel sleep and you sleep very little. Now, we should keep in mind that we do, like with insomnia in general, there is sleep state misperception. When you study someone who has insomnia, you do underestimate how much you sleep. And that's also part of the hypervigilance. You underestimate how much you sleep. But nonetheless, you can definitely go long periods of time without feeling sleepy at all, and having a sense that you sleep very, very little when you are in this hyperaroused state. So if you recognize this kind of energizer bunny phenomenon, if you feel like, yes, this applies to me, like I've been in this state where I sleep less and less and less, yet I have this energy and I function during the day, and it feels really strange. What is the solution to it? It is awareness. It is simple awareness. Understanding what's happening is the key, all right? And the reason is that when there is no mystery, then there is no curiosity and all these other things. Like there's no curiosity, puzzlement, bewilderment. All that starts to fade. And when that happens, you become less hyper-aroused, then you sleep more, and then you become even less curious. And then you become less hyper-aroused, and then you become less vigilant during the day. You actually start feeling tired. You start feeling sleepy, and then you become even less curious. And then the hyperarousal goes down, and now you've reversed this loop. So the solution is quite simple. Just understanding nothing strange or unusual going on. It's just another manifestation of hyperarousal. And we see that things go in a very nice direction, and you start doing really, really well. I hope you found this helpful. And if you have any questions, then post them as a comment. And if you've had this, do you want to share maybe some encouraging words to others, or you want to share your experience with the energizer bunny phenomenon, please post a comment. If you would like to submit a question for open class, you can head to thesleepcoachschool.com and click on the little banner up top. And you can also read about ways to work with myself, whether it is text-based coaching one-on-one or a group coaching program, or maybe you want to become a sleep coach, check it out. Hope this is helpful again, and look forward to having you back real soon. Until then.